well, I'll get the website out of the way, www.peterdalescott.net. I'm not going to say what I came here to say. I want to respond a bit to what happened at Lafayette Park, and particularly what's happened here so far in front of the cameras of C-SPAN. I'm very, very charged up to see such a diverse group here, and in our diversity is our strength, and we have to make sure it continues to be our strength and doesn't become our problem. Before I came, a friend of mine sent an email furious that another friend of mine had organized a panel. There were going to be CIA people on the panel. So how could any good come out of it? That is the kind of thinking that we must all suppress in ourselves. When you have a diverse group, you are going to hear things you don't agree with. And I want to say personally to you, Ray McGovern, I was so inspired by your speech, and I so disagreed with some parts of it, which I am not going to share here today. And diversity is the way to make sure we win is if we realize that we are a growing movement, and we can look to the, it's not even a sort of a glint of light at the end of the tunnel. I am convinced that George Bush is going to be in real trouble before the end of his administration, and it's going to come from people like you if you can keep your act together. Now, when we come to this question, is it a crime, is it incompetence, and so on, I happen personally to think it's a crime. I think this is the largest unsolved murder in the history of the country, and it's just about the least investigated murder in the history of the country. And there was no desire on the part of the 9/11 Commission to treat it as a crime and to treat it as something that needed to be investigated with. I mean, they had a chance to speak to Cheney and Bush. We will not know what happened on that day until those two men have been interrogated under oath and separately by a competent power. And I entirely endorse what John Judge said, that the next step is, I always felt that this would be a whitewash, the 9/11 report. It's the next step. Now you go and show where it's a whitewash, and to do that we need the evidence. It's not just being picky to say that we need to get all of that evidence and the videos that were taken around the Pentagon and so on. There's a whole pile of it. It's being listed, it's being asked for, it's being turned down. How can they turn this down? I mean, what rationalization is there for that? At this point, only 2 Congress people, both women, both black, both people of color, women, 2 out of 435. That's 433 to go. But I think that you have, they don't have the resources to stop. When it's a matter of truth, when it's a matter of fact, it's such a strong weapon. And so I appeal to Lynn. I don't even know really who she is. I agree that it was a crime. I think that's the wrong thing to do, frankly, particularly in front of C-SPAN cameras. The use that they can make of that, say, oh, look at this movement, they're all squabbling. I've been through it in the Vietnam anti-war movement. I've been there, even the relatively tiny group of people who were originally investigating the Kennedy assassination. Somebody once said they better never put a man like a Carcano on the table because somebody will beat somebody else's brains out with it. There was that kind of tension. There doesn't need to be, if what we're trying to do is move forward and win, we must not attack each other. We have the strength to work. I want entirely to endorse what Nafeez said. The facts are our friends and our strength and our ammunition, and let's keep with that, and let's not try to refine the rhetoric with this opinion or that opinion. Let's move forward. Every one of you here, I think, represent a lot of people. So this, for someone who was in the early days of the anti-war movement in Vietnam, this is incredible to see this kind of turnout. Let's take that energy, move forward. Thank you very much.
thank you. I think we needed that. Thank you very much, Peter.